It's not just bad people that the dogs are detecting, they are detecting literal demons walking amongst us inhumans. And I'll prove it. Since the beginning of time, people have always suspected that animals, including dogs, can see spiritual things like demons. Check out this spooky story. Years ago when I was about 14 years old, I played with the Ouija board with a couple friends. We asked for signs and questions of that nature. Needless to say, it gave signs. That night I went home, I sat down after warming up my dinner with my back to the window with my dog, a mixed Scottish Terrier at my feet. All of a sudden my dog was slightly growling, and when I looked down at him, he was not looking at me, but looking over my left shoulder past me towards the window. His growl got louder and he bared his teeth. I was getting scared myself because I didn't know why he was acting like that. All of a sudden his hair stood up straight. At that very moment, I remember getting chills all over. That's a pretty normal thing when you encounter demons, you get chills. I stood halfway up quickly and looked back at the window. What I saw almost dropped me with fear. I saw a face with an elongated nose, defined protruding cheeks, and a pointed chin with a grin that was exaggerated. I jumped away from the table as my dog lunged with a fierceness as he was going to fight another dog. He leaped past me, baring his canines and barking, but the bark was deep and intense. I looked back and the demon was gone. But we don't have just stories of dogs seeing demons today. You know, in the 1st century and before that in Rome, they used to unalive dogs for that exact purpose. And of course, history covers up the motive of these things because they don't want you to think the spiritual world is real. In ancient Roman religion, there was a ritual called supplica canem, or punishment of the dogs, where live dogs were something by being suspended from a stake or cross. Because to the Romans, the demons were their god, so they didn't like when people called them out. And you can also find art with dogs that are glowing. Does this mean every time a dog barks there's a demon? No. But to be honest, there are demons everywhere, much more than the world can perceive or even understand. And speaking of dogs, well, never mind, we don't have the time.